This theory is not related inside the FNAF game, but it is related to the creator of the game, Scott Cawthon. So people thought that Scott Cawthon had the entire franchise thought out from the very beginning, like he was some sort of genius mastermind. It's somewhat believable because of how fast Scott released his games, as well as Scott being a developer in the past for other big projects. But for Scott, as he stated in the interview with Daka, Five Nights at Freddy's was his last-ditch effort for a game to explode and do well, so he can support his family. So this most likely means Scott wasn't intending to add an entire story and extra games to Five Nights at Freddy's, which led us to the fact that Scott 100% didn't think ahead for any other Five Nights at Freddy's games. It's a bad theory only for the sole reason that people still believe it after Scott confirmed it himself. He is not this video game mastermind many people believe him to be.
Plus, if Scott would have, thought all this out before releasing the game, don't you think he would have, implemented better aspects? Like, for Five Nights at Freddy's 3, a lot of people didn't like the jump scares because they weren't scary. Now, I'm one of those people who agree with that. I really didn't like the jump scares of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but I don't think Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was supposed to be a scary game. It was supposed to be more of a closure, like a lore ending type of game, So, if Scott would have, thought all this stuff out before releasing the game, don't you think he would have changed those little aspects so the game would be perfect, people wouldn't get mad and all that? And there has definitely been some lore changes throughout the entire franchise. Like, based on how confusing the lore is, Scott most definitely waited a little bit for the games to connect and all that. So yeah, that's about all I have to say.
In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, in the Party Room 4 camera, we see 3 paper plates, known as the Paper Pals. So there is a chance that the paper plate that looks like a little kid can sometimes appear inside of your office. Many people were skeptical as to how the paper plate got into your office, and some people believe the paper plate had a soul inside of it. Yeah, that's not possible. I mean, the only reason the animatronics work for the children's souls is because their entire body was stuffed into the animatronic suits. Now for the paper plate pal, an entire child is unable to fit inside of a thin layer of paper. You have a better chance of reversing it and putting the paper plate pal inside of a person, instead of vice versa. So this is a very bad theory for some very obvious reasons. I mean, it's a paper plate. I don't understand why people think an entire human corpse is inside of a paper plate.
Plus, how would the paper plate walk, for one? Okay, let's just say that somehow there is a human soul inside of this paper plate pal. Well, okay, that's Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, so maybe it can happen. But here's some real life stuff. How would it walk? I don't understand how the thing would be able to walk because it's made out of paper. So if the aspect of there is a human child inside of the paper plate, how would it walk to your office and be on your wall and then disappear? It doesn't make sense, people. It doesn't make sense. Please stop believing this nonsense. It's just a little Easter egg not meant to be taken seriously. Oh man. It's such a little detail, but it means so much for the secret. Oh, it can't walk because it's made of paper. Exactly, so it can't be possessed. I mean, it's whatever. Alright, that's all I gotta say about this one. Let's move on.
So in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we can see a puppet mask inside of Cam 8 on the right side of the screen on the wall, as well as a Chica head showing off light. Now sometimes when Springtrap appears in Cam 8 and stands in front of the Chica head, the Marionette's mask disappears. I hate how I'm going to have to explain how shadows work, but I guess I'm going to have to. So since Chica's head emits light, and that's the only way we are able to see the puppet's mask. Once Springtrap steps into the light that is emitting from Chica's mask, and the puppet mask supposedly disappears. That's because the light through Chica's eyes are blocked by Springtrap, which now doesn't shine to the puppet's mask. Therefore, we are unable to see it through the camera anymore, so the mask doesn't disappear. We just can't see it because of the lack of light inside of the room, not because the puppet is scared of Springtrap or anything. I mean, the puppet's sole purpose is to eradicate Springtrap, so if it was afraid of Springtrap, it wouldn't be able to accomplish its goal. So in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer, we hear the song London Bridge. Now if we are to reverse this song, then we can hear Mike Kills All. So this connects with the first theory we went over on Scott being a mastermind. People thought that Scott had planned this out from the very beginning. Since the night guard we play as in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was Michael Afton's secret identity, Mike Schmidt. Allow me to explain once more. Scott didn't plan anything out, and the words we hear of the reverse song have nothing to do with Mike Schmidt. Now they may foreshadow that the night guard is related to the purple guy in a way, since it says Mike killed all, and they may get Michael confused with William since they are father and son, just like most of the animatronics do in most of the games by going after Michael Afton instead of William Afton by mistaken identity. So this theory should have been debunked very early on in the franchise, and honestly shouldn't have been believed by very many people at this time, and it really should not have been spiked in popularity. Springtrap is Fredbear? This theory was popping around when they showed the teaser of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I mean, I can see the bunny ears, so I don't have much to say about this, but in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 trailer, we can see an animatronic on the right of the screen. Now, if we mirror this image, we can see what the animatronic most likely would look like, and it looks relative to Golden Freddy. I understand this theory at the time, but I feel it is bad that people still believe it, even though we already know Springtrap is the antagonist, and Golden Freddy isn't the antagonist in the game at all, and he wasn't even in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 to begin with. So for the people who believe that Golden Freddy is the antagonist in the entire franchise, and Springtrap is like a cover-up, respectfully, go watch all of MatPat's videos, and then come back to this video, because man, I really can't understand some of these people. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, there is a character we all know and we all hate, which is Balloon Boy. Now, Balloon Boy, whenever he enters your office, he stands there with his balloons and his signs. Now, if you look inside of Balloon Boy's mouth, you can actually see a pair of eyes. Now, some of us are left to believe that this is the dead kid inside of Balloon Boy, and others believe that this kid is alive. Well, I'm here to debunk that theory. First of all, why would the kid inside of Balloon Boy, if he was supposedly alive, wanting to work against you? Now, I do understand that William Afton and Michael Afton may look similar, and it's just like a mistaken identity thing, but then again, still, I mean, and plus, wouldn't the animatronics, know that, there is a kid inside a Balloon Boy? Especially, how would the kid be alive? This theory is based on, that people think that there's an alive child inside a Balloon Boy. So, once again, I have no idea why people think of this, but, this theory is going to be a little long just because I like talking trash about it because it's so weird. But yeah, so how would the kid survive? It's basically like the Elizabeth Afton thing with Baby, like how Elizabeth would have survived off ice cream and helium. No, no. How would Balloon Boy survive? I mean, Elizabeth Afton has more of a chance to survive than the kid inside a Balloon Boy. Especially, okay, why would the kid not try to get out?
Like that, if the kid wants to kill William Afton, why would the kid not get outside of the suit that it's supposedly in, which is Balloon Boy, to go like get the cops or something? Like it's just those little things that some people don't want to realize, which makes the theory just all the lot worse, because it may have been a better theory if people would have, you know, just left it there that, oh, there might be a kid inside a Balloon Boy because we see eyes. I mean, we see eyes when the puppet jump scares us, but that's reflective. That's like reflection from us. So when the puppet jump scares you, you can see eyes, right? Yeah, I'll pop up that picture. But yeah, we can see eyes. So, and that's a reflection. So possibly the reflection inside a Balloon Boy's mouth with the eyes may be a reflection. I mean, we all don't know. But that's the only guess that we have, and that's about all for this theory. I still can't believe some people